The television lights blaze hot overhead, casting the familiar courtroom set in the kind of harsh illumination that turned even confident guests into deer caught in headlights. But today, the lights weren't the only thing radiating intensity. Judge Judy Sheindlin, known to the world as Judge Judy, was seated on a bench with her signature steely gaze locked firmly on the woman standing confidently across from her, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. What had started as a special civic justice segment on national television, intended to bring together public figures for a mock courtroom debate on pressing issues, had turned unexpectedly real. The courtroom was packed, not with plaintiffs or defendants, but with a live audience, the show's crew, and cameras broadcasting every second to a worldwide audience. The topic was supposed to be public accountability in government spending, a mild debate, a chance to educate the public with a bit of courtroom drama flair. At least, that's what the producers thought when they invited Crockett. They clearly underestimated her. Jasmine Crockett stood tall, arms relaxed at her sides, not a trace of anxiety on her face. Her bright blazer popped against the courtroom's wooden backdrop, a deliberate choice for the cameras. She wasn't new to confrontation. Congress, cable news panels, angry constituents. She'd handled them all with composure and fire. But this was Judge Judy, the arbiter of American television justice. Tough, no nonsense, and a master of theatrical domination. Congresswoman Crockett. Judge Judy began, voice low and dangerous. You're here defending the decision to allocate federal funds for a program that sends luxury buses. Yes, luxury buses. To underserved communities for mobile job training. What exactly is luxurious about economic struggle? The audience murmured, sensing tension. Jasmine didn't flinch. Your Honor, she said, tone even but sharp, I find it interesting that luxury is only questioned when it's offered to the poor. You're not screaming at corporations for their tax-funded jets. Judge Judy's eyes narrowed. Don't get smart with me. You're in my courtroom. And I'm in my skin. Jasmine shot back calmly. That means I'll respond to the truth, whether you like it or not. A gasp rippled through the audience. Judge Judy slammed her gavel. I won't tolerate grandstanding in my courtroom. You're a guest here. Show some respect. With all due respect, Jasmine said coolly, I respect the law, but respect is a two-way street. If you're looking to score points by raising your voice, I suggest you aim your gavel at actual corruption instead of yelling at a black woman trying to serve her community. The temperature in the room shifted instantly. You could feel the moment the cameras caught fire. Social media exploded. Clips of the exchange were being clipped, subtitled, and uploaded faster than anyone could blink. TikTok flooded with stitches and reactions. The phrase in my skin became a rallying cry within minutes. Judge Judy looked genuinely stunned. Her jaw tightened. For years, she'd been the one holding the power, silencing nonsense, shouting over unruly guests. But this was different. Jasmine was intimidated. She wasn't shouting back. She was surgical, steady, and unmistakably unimpressed. You're grandstanding now, Congresswoman. No, Jasmine said. I'm standing. Period. I won't let you twist concern for the underserved into some kind of scandalous misuse of funds. Our people don't get second chances. Those buses have Wi-Fi, job placement specialists, and resume coaches. Call that luxury if you want. But for some folks, that's survival. The judge tried to speak again, but Jasmine continued, undeterred. You know what's really luxurious, Your Honor? The idea that we can shout over one another and call that justice. That's a luxury I'm not interested in participating in today. There was a pause. Even Judge Judy, the master of courtroom tempo, didn't seem to know how to respond. She stared for a long moment, eyes narrowing as though trying to decipher whether Jasmine was challenging her or just refusing to play the game. Behind the scenes, producers were panicking. A junior executive whispered frantically into a headset, Do we cut the feed or ride it out? Ride it, came the reply from the senior producer. This is lightning. And indeed it was. By the time the segment ended, Jasmine had not only held her ground, she'd effectively dismantled the argument that helping the poor required austerity. She'd framed the debate not in terms of dollars and cents, but dignity and survival. And she'd done it without ever raising her voice. As the cameras panned for the closing shot, Judge Judy leaned forward, fixing Jasmine with a look that was somewhere between grudging respect and unresolved irritation. "Well," she said slowly, "I suppose the court of public opinion will have its say." Jasmine nodded. "It already has." The feed cut. The internet didn't. Within 2 hours, Jasmine vs. Judy was trending in 46 countries. By nightfall, there were remixed videos, think pieces, and dueling hashtags. Hashtag in my skin became a cultural banner for young activists, particularly women of color, asserting their right to exist and lead without apology. Pundits on both sides weighed in. Some hailed Jasmine's poise and eloquence. Others accused her of disrespecting an American institution. But no one could deny the effect. She had walked into a courtroom dominated by a figure known for overpowering guests, and refused to be overpowered. That night, in a downtown hotel, Jasmine sat alone in her room, the saw from the television in the background. CNN was looping the confrontation, analysts breaking down her every gesture. Her phone buzzed nonstop. Colleagues, supporters, even a few celebrities had sent messages of admiration. There was a knock at her door. It was her assistant, Keisha, eyes wide with excitement. "You just hit 15 million views on the full clip," she said breathlessly. 15 million. And Beyoncé's publicist just retweeted it with a fire emoji. Jasmine blinked. "The fire emoji? That's like diplomatic praise." Keisha laughed. "You don't get it. You just became a symbol." Jasmine smiled faintly. "I didn't come to be a symbol. I came to set the record straight." "Well," Keisha said, "you did both." A few hours later, Jasmine finally turned off her phone, lay back against the hotel pillows, and exhaled. She didn't feel victorious. She didn't feel like a hero, just tired. But somewhere, she imagined a little black girl in Alabama, or the Bronx, or Tulsa, watching that exchange. Seeing someone who looked like her, standing tall in a courtroom, not shouting, not folding, just standing. And maybe tomorrow, that girl would speak a little louder in class. Maybe she'd decide to run for student council. Maybe she'd tell someone no and mean it. That, Jasmine thought, was worth every ounce of the storm. Back at the Judge Judy studio, there was chaos. The producers were scrambling to handle the media fallout. The network execs called emergency meetings. The footage had gone viral beyond their control, and now there was talk of inviting Jasmine back for a follow-up interview, or maybe a panel. But Judge Judy herself wasn't taking calls. She sat alone in her chambers, rewatching the footage. Again and again. Something about Jasmine's eyes haunted her. Not fear, not defiance, just clarity. Judy had made a career out of control. But for once, it had slipped through her fingers. She didn't like how it felt. And yet, something inside her admired it. As she reached for her coffee, Judge Judy muttered under her breath, "Tough kid." A pause. Smart. Weeks passed. Then months. And the ripples kept spreading. A publisher reached out to Jasmine about writing a book. Colleges asked her to speak. Activists printed her quotes on shirts. But Jasmine, ever grounded, returned to work in Congress, quietly drafting legislation that prioritized underserved communities. When asked about the Judge Judy moment in interviews, she would smile and say, "It was just one day. The real work is what happens after the cameras turn off." But for the world watching, that day wasn't just a viral moment. It was a turning point, a courtroom showdown that became a cultural earthquake. And Jasmine Crockett, she didn't scream. She didn't fold. She just stood in her skin and changed everything.